Season 3 took me a little while longer. I'll do the quick explanation after the credits, but trust, it's good. My name is Dom Douglas, and I've been playing Magic the Gathering for what seems like forever, but in fact it's only been on and off for about 30 years. With that comes an expectation that I'm the best player ever. You couldn't be any more wrong in that statement. What I do like, however, is having a lot of fun. Whether it be playing Limited, Draft, Commander, Standard when I get the chance, Arena, Magic the Gathering Online, it doesn't matter as long as a good time is had. And with that, I have some opinions, not just of Magic the Gathering, but also video games, comics, maybe even a TV show or two. This is the Goblin Grenade Podcast. Want to welcome you back to the Goblin Grenade Podcast. My name is Dahmer, and this is Season 3. Where was Season 1 and 2? You can check them out at Max Heroes and Villains YouTube channel. Big shout out to Manny Mac for that opportunity. And why am I uploading on this channel again? And where the hell have I been? The shortest version of that story. I became a professional wrestling commentator for 5 years or so.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, for the last time as a full-time commentator, the voice of Extreme World Wrestling, Dom Douglas!
Working with USA Main Event now I'm based out of Marion, I think, North Carolina, where I was living up until this year. Then XWW based out of Charlotte and Monroe, North Carolina, and ACCW based out of Hidden Night and Hickory, North Carolina. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. And then some point in 2025, like in the summer of 2025, I made the decision to move back to New Jersey after living in North Carolina for 12 years because I was in a long-distance relationship. Now I'm in a relationship, not long-distance anymore, because I moved up here. It wasn't appropriate. I never felt comfortable with her moving down to where I was at, and I was like, well, I've got all my friends and family at that point, except for the wrestling guys. And even they, for like the last year that I was doing it, were like, why am I staying here? They love me, but they're like, yeah, there's no reason for me to live in North Carolina. I was just doing it for the wrestling. So yeah, I now live back in the armpit of America, New Jersey, have been for a bit, and moved into the house that she bought. This is the nerd room. That is the redone. This is the redone nerd room. And if you're like, where the hell are the video games at? That is what next episode is going to be. I was going to do this episode as a, where the hell have I been? And then today, I got an email from Wizards of the Coast. Actually, it was on Arena. And I was like, I got to talk about this right now. I got to talk about this today. Get the podcast back up. If you're not familiar with what this Goblin Grenade Podcast is, I will talk mainly about Magic the Gathering as the back wall can tell. I will talk about video games as well. I'm heavily addicted to Path of Exile 1 and 2, Diablo 4, and a handful of other games. That's about it. That's what we talk about here. So if you don't want to hear about Magic the Gathering 90% of the time and the other 10%, I'm okay if you just ding dong ditch. It's perfectly okay. I'm fine with it. I'm just doing it because on this channel, because everything else. Now, it could change. I can't predict the future. But if that happens, I'll let you all know. That being said, Season 3, Episode 1, and we begin with the basic loaded up Arena today because I've been playing the Hobbit Magic the Gathering set, and there was an email out on the Arena client. They finally, after 8 years of this program existing, I've been playing since closed beta, they finally got in-player reporting. You can do in-game player reporting. You could do it before, but you actually had to go off of the game or app if you're on your phone and log into your Wizards account and then remember, hopefully, the name of the player and why. After 8 long years, Wizards of the Coast has finally gotten in-game player reporting. Will this curb what is called roping, where you basically let your timer go when you're salty? Will this curb spamming emotes in a gesture of bad manners or BMing? Probably a little bit. Will this let the occasional, and I will give them credit, I've only encountered 3 really rancid names of players on Arena that were obviously derogatory to specific cultures, specific lifestyles, and specific nationalities. I've only encountered a handful, maybe 3 tops, but without in-game player reporting, you really couldn't do it. So good job on Wizards for finally getting something that even Call of Duty from the 360 era had. I love Magic the Gathering, but I will call Wizards out when they do a dum-dum, and this is a good one, but it shouldn't have taken 8 years to get in-game player reporting. It's a great step. I myself have fallen victim to people roping or people spamming emotes in a bad way. You cannot message other players, and I'm hoping they're not doing that for Arena. I actually like that you cannot communicate other than emoting to other players. If I have to pop open a text window. Now, the only thing that it could make possible, if they start introducing in-player chat, probably text chat, is if they finally get around to creating the Commander format on Arena. Commander is Magic the Gathering's most popular format by leaps and bounds now. And all of these decks right here that I own are all Commander decks, except for the 1 or 2 at top. I have a Pauper deck, which is nothing but commons, and a Modern/Pioneer deck, and it's mono red Steamkin, and I barely play it, but I do if the store or the LGS I'm at needs one more to fire up a Pioneer or Modern game. So, tournament or whatever. I'll be the sacrificial 8th, if you will, because I'm that good of a person in store. On Arena, different story. No, I'm kidding. We all get salty in Arena, but maybe this will chill the salt out a little bit. So, if they introduce the 4-player format finally to Arena, this will be a big step for Wizards of the Coast. And it will probably get a ton more players involved in the game. Because right now, if you don't know, Commander is a format game where it's 100-card singleton. You can only have 1 copy of a card that is that isn't a basic land. You can have as many basic lands in a 100-card deck as you want, but anything that's not a basic land, you can only have 1 of. And you have 1 card set aside, that is your Commander. And whatever of the 5 colors that your Commander is, whether it be a single monocolored, dual colored, 3, 4, 5 color, you can play those color cards in your deck. It's the most popular format by far. I'm developing a show where I finally get around to playing on camera Commander games with friends in person and hopefully on Discord as well. but it's a good step. But that will need chat, because Commander is also a very political game, especially Casual Commander. Casual Commander is a very political game, and even, CEDH, competitive Commander, or if you hear me say EDH or CEDH, EDH means Elder Dragon Highlander, which the first 5 Elder Dragons that were printed 30 some odd years ago is the basis for the format. So you'll hear it as mainly Commander a lot, but you'll also hear it called EDH. You will have to be, hey, don't attack me. Let me get this creature through so I can get my activated ability. I'll let you crack back I'll let you hit me back on your next turn, but I need to get rid of player 3's creature, and I can only do that if you let me hit you for 2 damage or whatever. That I can see why text chat would be introduced, or is slowly getting introduced, because it does make sense with in-game player reporting and how it was worded. Like, what you can report them for text chat, or bad manners, or bad name, or slow play, or no playing. So yeah, finally, good on you, Wizards. 8 years it took. And our second topic of discussion, it's going to be a quick one today because it's only be me. I do want co-hosts, and I've been asking friends and whatnot that I know if they want to guest or be the co-host for the show. But I figure if I don't start doing it now, I'm not going to do it. I'm giving myself a couple weeks to at least get this nailed down again. Hobbit, Lord of the Rings Hobbit came out. I myself traded in a monster trade. My trade binder's hurting because of the trade that I did to the game, my LGS that I go to. And I managed to get a draft night box of Hobbit, a draft booster box of Hobbit, and a bundle of Hobbit. I also bought a singular collector pack. Now, the draft night kit has 12 packs and a collector pack in there. You're supposed to have four friends, open them up, do a little bit of a draft, and whoever wins gets that collector pack. I just like buying it because I like buying stuff. I like cracking packs every now and again. Don't be like me. Singles are the way to go. But when it comes to certain sets like the Hobbit, I'm gonna get a lot. I'm gonna go hard in the paint. The last time me and the missus did this was Dragonstorm Tarkir. When that came out, Tarkir Dragonstorm, we wound up buying like 2 play boosters. She bought in total 12 collector boosters, a box of collector boosters, but we had to stop at 4 stores to get the 12 packs. Because she plays Tiamat. That's her favorite commander. She loves dragons. She loves Godzilla. And also, 12 minutes in, yes, if you've known me from before with the Gaming Onio Maniacs and some of the skits I did, I'm no longer with my ex-wife. It was amicable. We are still friends, and I'm just going to leave it at that. Easy split. Honestly, it was like, do you? Okay, let's get it done. And that was before I got into professional wrestling. And I'm going to repeat this joke next week when I do Where the Hell Have I Been? I did it backwards. My midlife crisis wasn't getting a convertible car and a girlfriend, definitely not age appropriate for me. It was getting my hip replaced, getting divorced, and then getting into the professional wrestling industry as a commentator, and a decent one at that. There are some that say I was really good. I never thought that. Occasionally I would, but I never really thought that. But The Hobbit, we were pre-warned at least this time. It was a mid-size set, not a small set like Spider-Man, which was absolute dog shit, but a mid-size set. but it was designed as a mid-size set, whereas Spider-Man was a small set, which is about 120-ish something cards. If you remember, think Assassin's Creed set, how that was like a very small set, and Spider-Man was supposed to be like Assassin's Creed, where it was like 100 cards tops, and half of the cards had 18 different printings on there, but you bought them in 6-card packs, and nobody liked that. So they got rid of that format, but then that left Spider-Man in a bit of a crunch, even though it was a year and a half, 2 years out, because these sets take about 2 to 3 years to develop in full, from conception to product in stores. So they had to scramble to create 50 or 60 something cards to fill the set out, if you will, and because they would have to sell like a regular 14 card booster pack, because to our credit, the fans' credit, we hated March of the Machines Aftermath was what really told Wizards, no, we're not doing this. And Assassin's Creed also said, we're not doing this. So at least they designed this set as a medium-sized set. Out of all the cards I've seen and out of all the cards I've opened, I think it's a fantastic set for the current standard setting. Standard being the last 3 years of product that was released. Everything now is that comes out in Wizards set-wise is standard. There is no more like Modern Masters or anything like that. So I think it's fantastic in standard. What happens, though, is this set for limited, which is my second favorite format, or depending on the day of the week you ask me, my favorite format, it's bad. There are 5 archetypes in a small, medium-sized set. In a normal set of 230-something cards, they'll make 10 archetypes. Marvel Superheroes, the last set that came out before Hobbit, had 10 archetypes. And a couple of them are, not going to be playable. But, you could do something with it. You could pivot a little bit, or, you think outside the box when it comes to an archetype. With the small 5 archetype in limited, which is drafting or sealed format, sealed is you open up 6 packs of cards and you make a 40 card deck based off of that. And limited and draft is you open up a pack, you pick 1 card, you pass it to your left. You do this with all the players at the table, usually around 8, until that pack is empty. You open up pack number 2, you take a card, you pass it to the right. And then when you open up pack 3, you pass back to the left until you've drafted about 50-ish something cards, I think. Like 45, 50-ish something cards. And then you make a 40 card deck, lands included, with that pool that you've drafted. There's only one color that is rising above out of the 5 colors in Magic, which is white, blue, black, green, and red. In The Hobbit, black is the color of choice. It has removal, it has good, cheap, efficient creatures, it gets on the field fast, it swings hard, it kills everything that you can think of, and there's 2 black decks in there. Black-red, which is goblins, amass making tokens and pumping that token up, and sometimes sacrificing that token to get better card draw or to replace the token. And then black-green wolves, which is basically, getting wolves out and then having them be power 4 or greater to get extra benefits. Blue, from what I've seen, is the bottom of the barrel. There isn't even an efficient counterspell in blue. There was 2 counterspells in The Hobbit for blue, and one is okay. The other is garbage. It's a 6 mana counterspell, and no one's playing it. No one at all. White is doing okay. Green is doing okay, but the black decks, whether it be black, red, black, green, are just above and beyond. And that's a problem with the medium-sized set. For standard, I'm adoring this set right now. I love The Hobbit. I love Lord of the Rings. And not just the movies, the books. And the Magic the Gathering cards are based off the books, okay? Based off the books. And so right now, it's just a terrible draft limited format And I'm kind of like having to deal with that a bit because I like drafting. I'm kind of sick of the draft. I even got like the draft from Wizards where I got the 4 draft tokens, the 2 sealed tokens, and yeah, I'm kind of sick of the draft already, and I've done 3 drafts and the 2 sealed events so far. And I recorded the 2 sealeds and the 2 drafts already, or 1 draft. And they'll be up relatively soon once I get around to it, because I decided to go through and fix that. And by that, I mean my monster box of rares, my monster box of playable uncommons and commons. It had been a year, maybe 2 years actually, since I actually worked and organized them. And in preparation for The Hobbit, I had to go through all my stuff to trade, because I still have enough trade for the next set, Reality Fracture. That's coming out, I think, in like end of September. And then I think November, December, the Star Trek Universes Beyond set happens, and I'm not playing that at all. I have no interest in it whatsoever. Not even, I'm playing Arena to prepare for next year. You know, the releases that are happening next year. Star Trek is going to be such a... Sometimes Universe Beyond sets are home runs. Final Fantasy, home run. Lord of the Rings, home run. For half of it, Hobbit, home run. The Commander only products. Fallout was a home run. Warhammer 40K was a home run. But it also has a lot of misses, like Assassin's Creed, the first Spider-Man set, the Turtles set. Yes, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is in Magic the Gathering. That was a set that came out earlier this year, and it was bad. Avatar The Last Airbender set was phenomenal. I've not bought a single product of it. I've played it on Arena. I've bought a couple singles for my Go Shintai Shrine deck, because, you know, Shrines almost get no support whatsoever, so when they came out with the 5 new Shrines for Avatar, I had to buy one of each. Cost me like $2. I'm using Mana Pool exclusively now, not TCG Player. Mana Pool's really good, not sponsored, but Mana Pool's a really good website to get singles. Card Kingdom is also a good site as well. They're a little more pricier, if you ask me, but you get them all in one package, whereas for the Dwarf deck that I made, I needed 3 cards and 2 more cards to upgrade my Thranduil deck, and now I'm going to get like 3 packages for 4 cards. But what can you do? I like using Mana Pool. So yeah, The Hobbit definitely has a problem with the draft and limited sealed environment, whereas with Standard so far, it's doing some pretty cool things. I like it. And now, I'm going to stand up and edit this part of the video out. When it came to all of the things I traded in to get Lord of the Rings Hobbit product, I didn't even get everything I wanted to. I can't find the scene boxes, and I still need one of each. One for my Dwarf deck, one for the Mrs. Tiamat deck, because there's 2 cards in there that go really good with it. I'll eventually find it when allocation gets better, but, you know, the product not being available isn't because of the influencers and whatnot. That's not it. There's a shortage of product right now for The Hobbit. A lot of the content creators got the product 2 months ago with a date that they could release them opening it and whatnot. Some violated it. Some went way too early. A lot didn't. Some had really bad takes on it when it came, especially to the collector booster product. Surge from Loading Ready Run had a great point. If you're mad at the content that was created for The Hobbit, or mad people breaking early date, this, that is not a content creator's problem. That's a management problem. So Wizards needs to crack down, and unfortunately, I think some ambassadors are going to get cracked down a little hard on it because they done messed up. Will I ever get an ambassador? I'm not looking for it. Not trying to pursue it. If I get it, cool. I'm not going to lie to you straight up. It'd be awesome to be an ambassador. It'd be awesome to get the benefits and whatnot from it. But I'm not doing this to get it. I've been doing this podcast for about 3 years now. Season 3, obviously. Took a long hiatus because moving stinks and, getting the house set up and all that. But, yeah, like, I'm not doing this for, to get notoriety. It'd be nice, but I'm just doing this because I'm bored, man. I'm bored. Remember, I had my hip replaced 7 years ago. I'm disabled. I really am. I have ceramic and titanium in my hip and in my pelvis. I'd show you the x-ray, but I think YouTube would flag it, even if I've blurred and mosaicked certain parts of the image up. I can't help it. But, that being said, when I got that crazy trade, told you what I bought. A draft night kit, a play booster box, and a bundle. And one collector booster. So that means I had 2 collector boosters. One collector booster humbled me. Mind you, these collector boosters are going for like $80 right now a pop. That's ridiculous. That is... We're 25 minutes in. That's fucking ridiculous. Okay? By the way, I swear. It's not a good look for Wizards. And I know MSRP is around 50, and some stores, you got to make the money. You got to make it when you can, especially with the in-demand product. But with this particular product, there was no real chase cards except for the Gold Smog that you can get only in collector boosters, and some of the Dwarven Language cards that you can only get in collector boosters. And the numbers really weren't there. It's not serialized Smog either like they've done previously. Like, there could be 1,000 Smogs out there. They've said 500-ish exist. But it's got to be more than that because they did not serialize some of these cards where it's like a 1 of 500, 1 of 800, 1 of 1,000, 1 of 1, 1 of 100. They didn't do that for this one, for the Smog. So you never know. But I managed to open up the second most sought after expensive card in the set. A foil Dwarven Language Mox Amber. I know it looks really bad on camera, but that is a foil Mox Amber. And I uploaded that video last week of me opening it. I don't know what to do with this card. I really don't. I know it's not going to be in my possession for a while, because originally I thought I was going to put this in my tricked out Niv Mizzet deck, because I'm currently blinging out my Niv Mizzet Visionary deck. And I'm now at the last like 20 so cards that are going to be the more pricey ones. You know, like the Niv Mizzet version that I want. I have the full art, alternate art, non-foil version. I think I can get that for like, I could trade that for $20, but I think if I got the foil, it's like 60. You know, cards like that. I'll show it at some point in a deck tech, just because I really like the way it looks. It is such a nice deck. And it's such a different playstyle deck for me too. On top of everything else that I have, I mean, I made Dwarves. I made the Astonishing Ant-Man. I have Chatterfang. I have Edgar Markov. I have Gimli and Legolas Counter of Kills. They're not a partner, Commander. It's a real zero conversation I do have to have. But I think those two should have been partnered when the Lord of the Rings set came out. So, yeah, let's just check it one more time. That is a foil. It's not going to come out well either, but you know what? Come on. Come on. Yeah, that's a foil. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I know I've been talking to the store that I've been playing at about it. I don't know if I'm going to trade it in for credit or cash. Be straight up with you. We'll see what the numbers do. So yeah, that was the craziest. It's the most expensive card I've ever owned, and it's the most expensive card I've ever opened. So yeah, I had fun with Lord of the Rings. The bundle, though, humbled me, and I released that video 2 days later. The bundle was like $70. I didn't pay a single dime. It was all in store credit that I used. And I opened up, if we do not count the 4 seasonal planes that I opened up, the spring, winter, fall, summer, I opened $20 in cards in a $70 product. That was 9 packs of cards I opened. And between all the rares that I got in those 9 packs, didn't even match the 4 seasonal 4 planes that I got. So yeah, the set is tanking, obviously. It always does when the set originally comes out. Some of the cards are tanking even further. I know this Mox Amber's already tanked a little bit. Do not care. It's still the most expensive card I own. But, you know, buy singles. I did. I just spent $4 on Mana Pool to get a couple singles for the Dwarf deck that I'm making and the Thranduil deck that I finished that needs 2 upgrades that I think the deck needs to run it. But yeah, that's about it for now. For episode 1 of season 3 here of the Goblin Grenade podcast, my name's Dahmer, and may your top deck always be mythic. Back in the saddle again.